Hi, I'm Adam Duffus, the Managing Director of VA for You, and this is Task Me Anything, a podcast dedicated to helping you with VAs in your business. We started this business a few years ago with the goal of reducing wage stress within your business, increasing employee happiness, and driving productivity through the roof. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Today, I am joined by standout in the industry, Steph Marshall from Harcourts Property Centre. Steph is a listing machine, a client favourite, and is consistently ranked in the top 1% of Harcourts agents internationally. But behind the scenes, there's a strategic edge to Steph. And yes, it involves a killer virtual assistant setup, but so much more. We're going to dive deep into who Steph is today and how VAs have changed her life. So welcome, Steph.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So just to get to know you, if a VA could do one thing for you outside of work, what would it be?
Oh.
What do you hate doing?
Oh, that's interesting. Socialising?
You could get a VA to just go to parties for you.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. No. What would that be? Cleaning for sure.
Oh, yep.
Although a VA couldn't clean.
No, that's what we mean. Like if they can come and do a real task for you.
Yeah.
Cleaning.
Definitely
Cleaning's
cleaning
right.
the house.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Chocolate. I had 2 chocolate bunnies yesterday. Over 2,000 calories. It's not good.
What's your power outfit for a big open home or a listing presentation?
Probably just what I'm wearing now. Something that I feel confident in.
A suit, a
bit
little
stylish.
Yes,
I do
nice.
love a bit of suiting. Yes.
What's one feature that always wins you over in a property?
I think how I set the property up, presentation, and I think presentation of myself as well. I'm a real people person, even though I just said I'd get a VA to socialise for me. I think that's a response from most agents, though, I must admit. But yeah, I think the way that I present myself in a home is my biggest asset.
Nice. When you're not working, where can we find you?
Fitstop Wellington Point.
You do love your workouts?
Yeah.
What's one thing you always keep in your car?
Perfume.
Perfume. If you weren't in real estate, what career would you be in?
You know what? I genuinely don't know the answer to that. And that is something that because I've always known property. That's what I've always done. I'd probably be doing something in like the mental health space.
Okay.
I, like most people, have had their own set of like struggles and battles, and that's something that I've worked through and gotten myself to a really great place. So I think it would be something, helping people like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
This or that, beachfront listings or a suburban charm?
Oh, beachfront.
Open homes or negotiations?
Open homes.
Inbox zero or a colour-coded calendar?
Ooh.
I've just gone to a colour-coded calendar. Let me tell you, I love it.
I mean, that gives me great pleasure. Those little admin things, They get me going. But probably an inbox zero. I cannot cope with emails in my inbox.
I've got 10,900 unread emails at the moment.
Cannot deal. Anxiety attack.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Brisbane river views or Redlands coastal breeze?
Coastal breeze.
Okay. You have to say that in the Redlands.
Although Brisbane river views are more expensive. So let's go river views.
Perfect. So what? Give us the 3-minute rundown of Steph Marshall and how you became a real estate agent.
Bit of a journey. So literally left school, 17, started a job on reception, have worked my way from the bottom right up to, the top. But to be honest with you, sales is never something that I wanted to do. Being on reception, I went into advertising, then I was doing property management, take my hat off to anyone who does PM. And then I went into sales admin, bit of sales associate. I think anyone in my generation, we're very much texters as opposed to callers.
Yep. Yes.
So knowing that I was definitely not a caller, I was like, real estate's not for me. Definitely never want to be a sales agent, being on the phone all the time, don't want to do it, couldn't think of anything worse. Moved to London for 2.5 years, came home, completely broke, went back into my old job where I was comfortable and, to be honest, pretty much spiraled. Not really, very, very depressing time for me. didn't have a lot of purpose, had no idea what I was doing. And then I decided that I needed to completely change it up, and I went and worked for an agent still within the Bayside, and working with her, I really realized that maybe sales was something I wanted to do. She helped me grow my confidence a lot, which is something that I was really lacking. And in the end, after 15 months, I decided to move on from her and go out on my own. And now I am.
So how did you grow? Like to be in real estate, you've got to be comfortable on the phones. You've got to be able to pick it up and ring. Like how did that come about?
Look, it still hasn't really come about. Let's be real.
Still, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, it's not my favorite task. It never will be. And that's pretty much most agents' problem, is that we don't like prospecting, and it's prospecting that gets us business.
Yeah.
Early days, it was real estate 101 for me. I was pounding that phone, had my call lists, calling through. I picked a patch and I just worked through it. And I started to grow my little database, and I was like hounding people, not in a bad way, but also, if I couldn't get them on the phone, I'd send them a text message. If I couldn't find a number for them, I was stalking them on Facebook and messaging them there. And that's actually how I got my first listing.
Right. Well, that's not someone who's shy and held back.
Not at all. Look, no. I'm very when I want something, I'm going to go after it, put it that way. And I'm confident. I come across confident, even if sometimes it's eating me up inside and I'm like dying. You'll never know about it, that's for sure.
So flash forward to now. So over $5 million in February, and your biggest month. And
apparently
the entire quarter was enormous for you. How? Why?
This is probably not the answer that you want. There's no
magic bullet. Is there a pill that we can all take to have sensational?
No. And you know what? I'm not, as much as I come from a very structured admin background, admin is what gets me going. It is my roots at the end of the day. There's no real process that I follow. I find I'm now starting to get a lot of repeat word of mouth referral business. And I think that's really where my business I see will excel in the future.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that cold, nurturing relationships from the ground up. I definitely think I'm going to get a lot of my repeat business through, repeat and then word of mouth referrals and people who I meet at open homes. That is where I have the most success. People who see me in action.
People who meet you,
Yeah. Because I'm just a normal person at the end of the day. And I think people relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got two VAs. You've got a admin-based VA, Marco.
Yes.
Who is a bit of a machine.
Yes, he's a weapon.
And then you've got Noor, one of our very few but amazing Egyptian superstars.
Yes.
On the phones for you, doing that one task. How has this revolutionised your business in the last little while?
So this is actually what I love about Marco, and I call her Nora.
Nora, sure. No, Noor.
Yeah, Noor.
Yeah,
okay.
I try and speak with an Egyptian accent sometimes too.
So awkward. They're amazing because you know what? They are actually building my database and cleaning it. And clean database is key in real estate, being able to market to those people all the time. And having all of that detail to be able to, access those people, I think is really fantastic. And that's something that I've started to do really, really well this year, is reaching out to my entire database every single week through an e-newsletter. Yep. And if I didn't have that data, which is what Marco and Nora get for me, then I wouldn't be marketing to anyone. So that would be an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's we've been over this on this episode on these podcasts before that having clean data and knowing who you're talking to, it's hard just having a meeting before with my marketing team. Like I'm trying to market to everyone where that's probably not what you want to do. You want to pick a target and go for it rather than just spraying and hoping.
Yeah. I think for me it's definitely about I focus. And I think most agents are the same, pick a patch and you stick to it and you work that patch and you absolutely saturate that patch consistently and, well. So that's, for me, it's really important to ensure that I have all of that data within that patch in my database and I'm just constantly marketing to them. You don't always, it's never a, magic wand, magic bullet. You don't get an immediate return, but it's about always being in front of people's faces and being top of mind.
So what's next for Steph?
Well, there's nothing I'm growing my team. So I'm now at a point where I've gotten myself to, I think I wrote last calendar year, I did around that 550 mark. So now it's time for me to put on someone to take me to the next level, which obviously I'm now working towards being a $1.2 million agent, which is super exciting.
Yes.
Am I on track this year? I don't really focus too much on the numbers. So
you put the effort in, you're going to get there.
well, that's it. And that's it. At the end of the day, I think it's just, again, doing everything well and doing it consistently. And I'm a huge believer in, being in receiving energy, and everything will just take care of itself. Even sometimes when you feel like you're not on track, you get
out what you put back. I try and say to, trying to explain that, you've got these guys out there, you're one of them with 2 VAs.
Yeah.
You're putting all this effort in. There's 16 hours a day. Even if you do nothing, there's 16 hours a day worth of work happening for Steph Marshall.
Yeah. And I still love that as well,
Yes.
especially because it's not work that, and I've been very open and honest with like you and Sam about this. Like, I'm not prepared to make those calls, but those calls still need to be made. Yeah.
Oh,
So
you can come work for me, Steph. That's a great line.
Yeah.
from
Well,
you.
I mean, I'm not prepared to do that anymore at this. I'd rather focus on different parts of my business and making sure that, the process is being taken care of. I want to focus on what I'm good at and the things that I'm not so good at, which is making those calls, getting rejected, being hung up on, XYZ. I outsource that to my lovely Nora and Marco.
Perfect. Real estate is a needle in a haystack job. You're always searching for that needle, and you're going to get rejected.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse than being rejected 100 times a day.
Yeah. No, it's, you know what? And I know that certainly would not make me feel mentally well.
Yes.
So again, I make sure I focus on things that are good for me to focus on and keep moving my business forward. And I let Marco and Nora take care of the database and build that up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Steph, thanks so much. It's been absolutely a pleasure working with you over the last 6 to 12 months, and it's great to see where you're going to go. I have no doubt you're a $1 million writer without question. So thank you so much for joining me today.
That's all right. No dramas. Thank you.